The world has a crisis on its hands, but in every crisis lies an opportunity to innovate, commercialize, grow and offer solutions. Historically, the world has competed to discover and conquer new horizons. From the race to being the first to reach the moon, to being the first to develop a nuclear weapon. In COVID crisis too, nations don't want to let an opportunity go waste. Discovery, innovations and repurposing have become buzzwords. The world is working overtime in the race for a vaccine and a drug against COVID-19. And no solution is possible without India. After all, India is the pharmacy of the world. From the moment it was clear that we were facing a global pandemic, it was apparent that a vaccine would be a crucial tool for limiting its spread and infection. And researchers around the world began working against the clock to create a vaccine to halt the spread of novel coronavirus.
I think that considering that at the beginning of the year, so January of 2020, we really were not aware what we'd be in the middle of right now. Vaccine development efforts have been taking place at an unprecedented rate. I mean, 4.5 months into a pandemic, where the published sequence of the virus was first available in mid-January, we have 8 companies in either the first stage of human testing or the second stage of human testing, with some of the groups anticipating that they will begin the final stage of testing by late summer or early fall.
But development of a vaccine is a long process that can falter at any step. There is also the issue of effectiveness, that is how the vaccine performs in real-life conditions. Once a candidate is identified, its safety and efficacy have to be tested over 3 phases. A 4th stage involves collection and analysis of post-marketing data.
Normally, the entire process from discovery to vaccine being marketed used to take about 10 years time earlier. Now even 10 years, if I actually include the laboratory research, perhaps maybe a shorter period that I was describing. But 10 years is a standard thing which we keep in our mind, 7 to 10 years. Now, because of the urgency that we have as of now, the period has been reduced by making certain regulatory changes in our approaches, whereby we should be able to test any vaccine, take it to the logical end, perhaps by 1.5 to 2 years' time.
As the world works to develop a vaccine, all eyes are on India, the powerhouse of vaccine and generic drug manufacturing.
If you look at 3 vaccines which every child in the world gets, 2 of them are made in India. So Indian vaccine presence is absolutely enormous globally. But India is not yet a major vaccine innovator. That again, this crisis has changed enormously. Indian vaccine companies have gone into vaccine innovation in a big way. All the major players have each come across with their version of what they would like to try. There are different kinds of vaccines one can make. These are vaccines based on the virus's genetic material. Others make a viral product and then look at how you can raise antibodies to that. And there are multiple other kinds using various scaffolds, other viral scaffolds to insert aspects of SARS coronavirus 2 so that you can make vaccines. Each of these technologies are very complex, and it's amazing to see, very refreshing to see how Indian academia and industry have come together to do this. Which will succeed, we don't know. There are about 90 different vaccine attempts all over the world, and these are good lottery tickets which we've bought all over the world. So it's also time for us to look at this globally and see, should we make a vaccine early, we should make sure that that vaccine is available for all of India and all of the world. And similarly, if someone else makes a vaccine, we should make sure it's available for all of the world and all of India.
India produces 60% of the world's vaccines and accounts for 60 to 80% of the United Nations annual vaccine procurement. A number of Indian companies have also helped over the years to produce and distribute vaccines to the world. India is also the world's third largest producer of drugs by volume. The Indian pharmaceutical industry is growing at a rate of 7 to 8% a year, according to the Indian Pharmaceutical Alliance, while rating agency ICRA projects an even higher growth of 11 to 13% in 2020. Over 50 years, India has emerged as a major player in pharmaceuticals. In 1969, Indian pharmaceuticals had a 5% share of the market in India, and Global Pharma had a 95% share. By 2020, it was the reverse. So India has a prominent and rapidly growing presence in global pharmaceuticals. It is the largest provider of generic medicines globally, occupying a 20% share in global supply by volume. It also supplies 62% of global demand for vaccines. India is the source of 60,000 generic brands across 60 therapeutic categories and manufactures more than 500 different active pharmaceutical ingredients. The country is home to more than 3,000 pharma companies with a strong network of over 10,500 manufacturing facilities. The domestic pharmaceuticals market turnover reached $20.03 billion in 2019, up 9.3% from 2018, growing as penetration of health insurance and pharmacies rise. India has a significant global presence in pharma too. Since 2018-19, India's pharmaceutical exports have been worth $19.14 billion with an annual growth of 10.72%. These numbers illustrate India's global presence in pharmaceuticals. Economies of scale in India present it with a major price advantage. The cost of manufacturing in India is approximately 33% lower than that in the US.
Often when we think about India, we think about the huge vaccine manufacturing capability in India. And I think that a key here is that India is also a source of innovation, and you pointed it out quite clearly. But the meningitis vaccine made by Serum Institute, the typhoid conjugate vaccine made by Bharat, and the chikungunya vaccine that Bharat is developing are all vaccines, for which we don't necessarily have a cognate, a vaccine being made by a major vaccine manufacturer in a high-income country. So these are the kinds of things that Indian industry can do, that Indian science can do, when they're properly incentivized to or encouraged to perform. And so I think that Indian companies, in partnership with others, with Indian universities, might be an important part of the innovation. With everything, funding is key. And so the Indian government's efforts to fund vaccine innovation and to forward fund vaccine development and to take advantage of the huge manufacturing capability in India is something I think that will benefit not only the people of India, but people all over the world.
American biopharmaceutical company Gilead's antiviral drug Remdesivir received the US Food and Drug Administration's emergency use authorization to treat COVID-19 patients. The deal will grant these pharma companies the right to register, manufacture and sell the US-based Gilead's investigational drug Remdesivir in 127 countries, including India. India holds 12% of all global manufacturing sites catering to the US market. India also exports pharmaceutical products to more than 200 countries across the world for the prevention and treatment of diseases, which goes on to demonstrate world's faith in the quality of Indian drugs. If the financial crisis of 2008 united many countries to usher in collective banking and financial sector reforms, 2020 global pandemic could serve to sensitize them toward greater public health security for their citizens. There is a saying, you never want a serious crisis to go to waste. The COVID-19 crisis provides an opportunity to the Indian pharmaceutical industry to play an even more important role in global healthcare. Pharma can do for India what software was able to do in the 1990s and 2000s when India became the back office. India's existing advantage of large-scale pharmaceutical production and distribution networks can help it unleash the true potential of its medical diplomacy. The whole whole world is working on developing a vaccine against novel coronavirus because a vaccine is the best hope to stop its transmission and generate herd immunity. India too is working on indigenous vaccines, and some in India have forged international partnerships for it. In India, the global hub of vaccine manufacturing, efforts are on to develop a COVID-19 vaccine. The Indian Council of Medical Research has tied up with Bharat Biotech International Limited for the development of a fully indigenous vaccine for COVID-19. The virus strain, isolated at the National Institute of Virology laboratory in Pune, is being used to develop a vaccine. The strain was transferred from NIV to Bharat Biotech International Limited. BBIL was chosen for its expertise in vaccine development, as earlier they had developed the vaccine for Japanese encephalitis.
At ICMR's National Institute of Virology, testing for the SARS coronavirus 2 is one of our key activities. The choice of the National Influenza Center here at the National Institute of Virology was obvious because this is also a WHO recognized center, and therefore the hub of testing started here and has remained here. This very lab has handled the previous pandemic in 2009, the H1N1 pandemic, and in that sense this laboratory was equipped to handle the huge load of testing that we are taking today.
Till date, we have tested 42,000 cases from Maharashtra and entire country. Further, we are strengthening ICMR VRDL network by providing diagnostic reagents, also hand-holding them for the technical queries, and we are also performing their QC. This ICMR network is found extremely useful during this SARS corona pandemic.
The Indian government has taken a very big step to prepare indigenous vaccine with the help of Bharat Biotech, which is an Indian pharma company. In this direction, ICMR and NIV was working for a very long time so that we can have our own virus isolate, and after 3 months of the continuous efforts, we could isolate the virus on 9th March. Immediately this was announced by Indian Council of Medical Research that we have virus and we can progress toward different kind of studies like antivirals, preparation of indigenous reagents, and also the vaccine development. Bharat Biotech has come forward and has signed the MOU, and now ICMR and this institute is in continuously working and making efforts so that we can have an indigenous vaccine soon.
Bharat Biotech is a leading developer of many pandemic vaccines. We are the first company to develop a pandemic flu vaccine in 2009, and also 2011 we developed the chikungunya vaccine, and again we are the first company in the world to develop Zika vaccine before anybody has thought about that vaccine. So we have a history of developing various pandemic vaccine. With that background, we thought we should do something for corona also. So we've been looking at it worldwide, what is the best technology that can fit in for a large population of 1.3 billion population, that to reach a platform that can take care of the safety of the people and also delivery to the people of the country.
The vaccine may take anywhere from 6 months to 1 year to be developed, as it will undergo the standard trials on animals and humans. In another effort towards prevention and treatment of COVID-19, India's premier public sector research and development organization, the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, is testing a repurposed vaccine against COVID-19. CSIR is testing Cadila Pharmaceuticals Sepsivac against COVID-19. This immunotherapy treatment, which boosts innate immunity, was initially approved for gram-negative sepsis, which is a disease caused by bacteria Mycobacterium W.
Sepsivac is the one which has been developed by CSIR in partnership with Cadila Pharmaceuticals. It has been shown to be very effective in gram-negative sepsis. It reduces mortality by about 50% or something. And we thought that because some of the symptoms of sepsis and those of COVID-19 are similar, so we should try to do a test of this as well. So once again we got 3 approvals from DCGI to conduct trials, one on critically ill patients, one on patients who are in the hospital but not critically ill yet, and third is the high risk people who are immediate contacts of these patients and so on and so forth.
It is not just top vaccine makers in India such as Bharat Biotech, Serum Institute of India and Zydus that are racing to develop a coronavirus vaccine. Even mid-rank companies such as the Gurugram-based Premas Biotech, Ahmedabad-based Hester Biosciences and startups like Newberg Supratech and Minvax have also joined the efforts. What works in India's favour in the race for a vaccine is that a number of Indian firms are key players in the global vaccine industry. Companies in India are using a wide range of methods for vaccine development. This includes using the virus itself in a weakened or inactivated form, using nucleic acids, that is DNA and RNA, to prompt an immune response, or vaccines made using coronavirus proteins. The Serum Institute, the world's largest manufacturer of vaccines by volume, is working on several candidates, including potentially mass-producing the AstraZeneca and Oxford University one, as well as developing its own.
Scaling up a vaccine is always a challenge. We've dedicated one of our facilities temporarily, which has a capacity of 350 to 400 million doses annually. But having said that, we're scaling up on a conservative basis of about 4 to 5 million doses per month to begin with, and then in about 2 or 3 months that should double on the monthly rate to 10 million doses and so on like that.
Zydus Cadila, Biological E, Indian Immunologicals and Minvax are also developing vaccines. Vaccines are the best long-term strategy to combat pandemics. Although coronavirus vaccines for all strains we've known so far, like those of SARS, MERS and even common cold, have been hard to develop due to their rapid mutation. Vaccines are expected to be refined each year to keep up with the mutations.
So vaccine allows to stimulate the immune system against the specific microbes, and the memory T cells keep the memory on, so that when the deadly microbes infect us, then those memory T cells can generate those magic bullets to protect us from that deadly exposure.
The strategic approach to vaccine development by Indian biotech companies is to collaborate with academia, universities, research organizations and virologists to develop vaccines.
There are different ways vaccines are developed against a virus. The most common way is to use inactivated viruses. The same virus is used, and but they're inactivated, so they cannot really produce the disease to that extent that you need medical help. And a lot of SARS-CoV-2 vaccines are actually being developed using this strategy. We already have clinically approved vaccines for other diseases of this category like influenza, chickenpox, rubella, and so a whole lot of companies like Sinovac, etc. They're trying to develop inactivated vaccines. CSIR is also geared up to produce such vaccines. Preliminary studies are being done. Then you can actually use the viral genome, the viral RNA, to make it a vaccine, and when you are delivering the RNA into the host, and this RNA is producing viral proteins, and this immune system will act against those proteins, and thus the immunity will be effective.
Once development is over, Indian companies have mastered the art of accelerating mass production and distribution across the world. India has been able to achieve price affordability through the economy of scale. A classic example is the case of the Rotavac vaccine for rotavirus infections. India was able to manufacture and sell at almost 1/15 of the then market cost in 2013. A similar pricing trend is expected now when the world is grappling with a pandemic. The world over, efforts are on to develop vaccines and drugs. While several countries are working in mission mode, there is concern for access to these solutions to the developing world. The United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution to ensure equitable global access to medicines, vaccines and medical equipments. India was among the 179 nations that co-sponsored it. India has been leading by example. It is at the forefront of sending essential medical supplies and medicines such as anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine to several nations. The World Health Organization's Solidarity Trial is on too, which aims at rapid global search for drugs to treat COVID-19. For COVID-19, there are over 100 vaccines being developed across the world now, some from scratch and others from existing molecules developed for other diseases. In the 3 months since the virus began its deadly spread, China, Europe and the United States have all set off at a sprint to become the first to produce a vaccine. Promising news on a vaccine came from US biotechnology company Moderna Inc. that said that its experimental COVID-19 vaccine produced antibodies that could neutralize the new coronavirus in patients in a small early-stage clinical trial. The vaccine was found to be generally safe and well tolerated in the early-stage study. It has won the US Health Agency's fast-track label to speed up the regulatory review. It is looking to begin late-stage trials in July.
We can indeed, with this vaccine, induce an immune response in everybody that received the vaccine. And that immune response generates the kind of antibodies that one would hope to generate, antibodies that can neutralize the virus, and that we can get to levels of antibodies that are those seen in people who've been infected with SARS-CoV-2, or in fact, even exceed those levels. The second part of the news is that we've also disclosed that in a mouse model of SARS-CoV-2, the same level of vaccine that can induce this immune response can also protect that mouse from the virus replicating in the lung.
US-based Inovio Pharmaceuticals is working on a DNA vaccine candidate and has got a grant from the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. But dampening hopes in what was touted to be a top contender for COVID-19 vaccine, Oxford University's candidate has not been able to prevent infection in monkeys, and it does not stop them from spreading the infection to others either. Researchers, however, found that it protected the animals from developing viral pneumonia. The UK government is funding a vaccine effort at Imperial College London. Professor Robin Shattuck, head of mucosal infection and immunity in the UK Department of Medicine, and his team developed the vaccine within 14 days of getting the gene sequence of the virus from China. The researchers plan to move to human trials soon. Israel has developed a key COVID antibody that attacks and neutralizes the virus in patients' body. Israel's defense minister announced the groundbreaking scientific development with a series of tweets. The Israel Institute for Biological Research has completed the development phase of the antibody formula. If effective, the development of an antibody is very promising. US firm Novavax has begun injecting a vaccine candidate into people in Australia with hopes of releasing a proven cure this year. As part of its Operation Warp Speed, the US plans a massive testing effort involving more than 1 lakh volunteers and 14 vaccine candidates. The project will compress what is typically 10 years of vaccine development and testing into a matter of months. Vaccines by Moderna, Oxford University and AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, Sanofi and Merck & Co. are likely to be included. Thailand has entered the race with its Thai mRNA vaccine. Trials of the experimental vaccine using monkeys started after researchers successfully conducted trials on mice. In China, 1,000 scientists are at work on a vaccine and the issue has already been militarized. Researchers affiliated with the Academy of Military Medical Sciences have developed what is considered the nation's frontrunner candidate for success and is recruiting volunteers for clinical trials. Another company, Sinovac, backed by the Chinese government, is working on a vaccine and plans to produce 100 million shots a year. Hong Kong-listed firm CanSino Biologics is testing a vaccine. It announced that phase 1 trials have been cleared and the vaccine is moving into phase 2. In Canada, the National Research Council of Canada has said it would work with the company for development of its vaccine. India, on its part, has entered into partnerships with other countries.
Things like vaccine and drug discovery, they are not small things. They take a whole lot of time, they require a whole lot of effort, lot of human resources, tons of money. And so we certainly want to connect with everybody who is working in that area. DST launched a call with US scientists, and so those things are coming in. We want people to work together to reach a solution very quickly, an optimal solution that is scalable. Also, there is an opportunity here. When we start working from the beginning with these partners, we also know that once the vaccine is discovered, that a lot of that manufacturing could move to India. Similarly, for drug, if a drug is found, a whole lot of drug manufacturing could happen in India.
Drug repurposing is being done as part of the World Health Organization's Solidarity Trials.
Global solidarity will accelerate science and expand access so that together we can overcome the virus. Until everyone is protected, the world remains at risk.
One is the solidarity trials. India is indeed working with WHO on the solidarity trials. That's been driven by the Indian Council for Medical Research. Those trials right now involve drug trials of various kinds, but they will soon include vaccine trials also, hopefully. In addition to that, India is participating with the WHO and international organizations. There's a very strong Indian presence there to make sure that vaccine development and deployment and manufacturing are done in an equitable manner for the world.
The Indian Council of Medical Research has fast-tracked the rollout of the Solidarity Trial launched by the WHO to help in finding an effective treatment for COVID-19. The fast-track study tests the effectiveness of antiviral drugs, remdesivir, lopinavir, ritonavir, and a combination of lopinavir, ritonavir with interferon.
So we are looking at new and newer drugs that could come, which could be added to this particular trial as a different arm, and we hopefully come out with fruitful results. Large number of sites have agreed to participate in this particular trial across India. We hope to be successful, but this doesn't necessarily mean that if we are participating in WHO's solidarity trial, we would not have our own trials. We are continuing to have parallelly support other trials for newer drugs like favipiravir, and we are also doing convalescent plasma trial. We are not only looking at one particular approach to be successful.
Apart from remdesivir, which is a new drug made by US firm Gilead, all the other 3 antiviral agents are generic drugs manufactured by Indian pharmaceutical firms. Gilead has voluntarily given license to 3 Indian firms along with 126 other countries to manufacture the drug. Pandemics typically have 2 types of endings: the medical, which occurs when the incidence and death rates fall, and the social, when the fear about the disease wanes. The COVID-19 pandemic has left many unanswered questions. Is the virus that causes COVID-19 changing in significant ways? What computer-based models can tell us about the virus and what they can't? When will the pandemic end? Will the fear around it die before its clinical death? What it means for COVID-19 to never go away and become endemic? Do science and technology innovations offer solutions? What lessons has the pandemic taught the international community? And are we prepared for the next pandemic? We will return with answers to these questions.